Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of the Articulate Fly, and we're back with another Chocklett Factory with the man himself, Blane Chocklett. Blane, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Just trying to stay out of trouble. It's been a minute since we've done one of these.
Yeah, I've been busy trying to keep the train on the tracks, keep it between the mustard and the mayonnaise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard you got a tune-up on the struggle bus.
Oh, yeah. Always on it, always driving.
Well, it's good to be in control. And, it's interesting. I think probably the last time we caught up, you were probably halfway through a pretty extensive kind of summer, fall travel schedule. We want to kind of update folks on kind of, where you've been the last couple months.
Yeah. Finally home after being gone for most of 2024. I don't know, I guess over the last 2 months, I was in Maine, up there doing a really cool event at Oxbow Farms at the brewery up there with Tim Adams. And they have this tournament up there, and a lot of most of the proceeds go to ASGA and benefiting ASGA, which, I work with, which is the Saltwater Guides Association. We're the ones that kind of give the science to the policymakers to protect fish, saltwater fish to be exact, from, the Northeast all the way down into the Gulf, or, we're in all those states. So this particular tournament hadn't been in Maine before, believe it or not. Feels like I've been everywhere in this country, but I'd never been to Maine, and got that opportunity and saw some beautiful fish, saw some, landlocked salmon, caught some Maine stripers with Tim, and good buddy of mine, Ben Wally, who's an amazing fly tyer in his own right, and a disciple of Bob Popovics, and we can get into that in a little bit. But yeah, so I left there and flew directly from there to Louisiana, where ASGA was putting on a science symposium for redfish and jack crevalle research in New Orleans, and we had a great turnout there for the first symposium, and then right after that, we hosted a fishing day, and we had a bunch of guides. So anybody that showed up within the industry to that science symposium, they got a chance to get out and catch some reds and jacks, and got to experience some of the science that we were talking about. And part of that experience for me being down there is I'm part of this film that we're doing on jacks. A lot of people don't know jack crevalle. People travel all over the world to chase jacks, which is the GT, over in the Seychelles and other places. But we have a great species, the jack crevalle here, that's many years past got very little notoriety and was, in my opinion, extremely disrespected in the fishing world. Fly anglers now love jack crevalle, but that doesn't help save them. So there's no education on jacks, and there's no regulations on jacks. So you could go out tomorrow and kill every jack crevalle you wanted. Anybody could. So we were stepping up with ASGA. A lot of people have heard of the Albie Project, where we're doing DNA samples, acoustic tagging, and telemetry stuff, and finding out where these fish go and all that kind of stuff. It's been eye-opening with the research that we found with the Albie Project, and now we're moving on to jacks, because albies don't have any protection, jacks don't have any protection. So these are both amazing sport fish, really, and they don't have the notoriety and the whole scheme of the fishing world. And without having those fish, for a lot of fly anglers, a lot of guides specifically, will lose a lot of their guide days. So that's part of what the Guides Association is. We're all about recreational anglers and everything, but we're kind of like the watchdogs for it. So we raise the money, we get all the donations, we give it to the scientists to go do the research and stuff. Then they're able to put all that together and give it back to us, and we're able to present this to the policymakers and try to get change done. So it's been an amazing journey for me over the past couple of years, being associated with them and learning all the ins and outs of that, and being able to have a film on it. So we're going to take this film. We had an amazing couple days of filming on those jacks. I mean, I was able to take my skills of musky fishing and was able to figure several jacks right at the boat, which is pretty cool, and got that on film, which is pretty sick. 25, 30-pound jacks eating at your rod tip. What could go wrong, right? So that was pretty amazing. So we're going to film in all these different areas where we're going to be doing the research, and I'm partnering with a lot of the companies that's helped sponsor me, and our partners like Yeti and Costa and Patagonia, Scientific Anglers, TFO. We're even working with Quantum and some of the conventional side, because we need all the help we can get, even though we're mostly fly. It's good to bring the whole fishing industry together. So we left there, and I came home for a couple of days and then flew up to Connecticut for another conservation tournament called the Tight Line Slam. And that was a great experience too, which we were targeting stripers, bluefish, albies if you could. Weather was terrible, but got to fish the Connecticut shore, and got to see people I hadn't seen in a long time. And in between that, at just a couple other spots, North Carolina for the albies. Been helped do the Albie Festival, which I've always enjoyed and get to bring my family down for. And it's been a whirlwind. I've kind of joked about it, but I really was not home at all this year. I mean, I think I was home maybe 7 weeks out of the whole year, something like that. So it's been amazing. I've seen a lot of incredible fishing, seen a lot of amazing fisheries. I've seen a lot of problems with fisheries and seeing some success stuff too. But it's been a eye-opening journey this year, and kind of tired, to be honest with you. I've really enjoyed the holidays here and being able to, kind of relax, see family and stuff like that. And, I got this terrible text when I was flying into New Orleans. A good buddy of mine, Jason Taylor, texted me, told me to call him as soon as he could. And he gave me the bad news about Popovics. And, that was a pretty rough trip to Louisiana, even though, we had some amazing fishing. I couldn't have my mind off Bob, who, as you know, it's been a big part of my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, right? I mean, it's tough. We've lost Lefty, and we're just kind of at that place where, we're losing so many of these great people in our sport. And I know Bob was super impactful for you. And, every time I see a T-bone, I think about a beast fly.
Yep. Bob, he was very special to me. We even though we wouldn't speak all the time, there were times where we talked for hours, but we never lost touch. We'd check in with each other all the time. I mean, Bob was always a sounding board for me on ideas I had. He was a hero that helped jumpstart my career way back when in the late 90s, and introducing me to the Lefty with the whole gummy thing, which we talk about in my book and spoken about with other people. But yeah, Bob, I mean, he was one of the greats, just like Lefty. I mean, we have all these amazing heroes that I've been very fortunate enough to meet and become friends with, and have them be my mentors. And it's really one of those things where kind of hits home, and you never know. You look at those people like they're always going to be here, but in the end, none of us are, right? So me and a bunch of buddies were talking with the ASGA, and we've got. I feel very strongly about this, and I'm spearheading this. Can't really talk about it yet, but I'm going to get a bunch of these icons and legends together and have a special weekend coming up in 2025, and we'll talk about that more later down the road. But it's going to be an event that I would never miss, and it's going to be an event I think a lot of people across the country are going to want to go to. So we'll just kind of leave it at that on that one. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people were touched about Bob, and I just got back from his funeral a couple weeks ago. He fought it pretty hard after his accident, but just too much. And I think 2 or 3 weeks ago is when I went up to Jersey and said goodbye, and got to see a bunch of people. It was pretty amazing to see how much Bob affected all these people, whether it was in the fishing world or the culinary world because, you know, he had the Shady Rest restaurant, and, you know, he loved gardening. He had his rose garden and all. And it was an amazing community up there, Seaside Park, that whole area, and having Bob, seeing the impact that he had and seeing thousands of people at his wake was really touching. So.
Yeah. And I think too, on the tying side of things, that kind of old school, like I think people now are spoiled, right? Like, even tying game changers, like now you can buy shanks, you don't have to go to the garage and bend wire for a couple hours to tie flies, right? And,
Yes.
I can remember, I guess it was probably at a fly tying symposium. It might have been at Edison, watching Bob tie his flies. And I mean, he's literally, gone to Home Depot or Lowe's. He's got, tubes of silicone. And I mean, he just went and found it. And Lefty was that way too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of came up after them, and, as he always, Dahlberg always said, I always say, thank you guys for letting me ride your coattails, but you'd be the first to say, now you're standing on those that came before you, on the shoulders of those that came before you. And it's true. I mean, a lot of the stuff that came from that era, there wasn't anything, right? So they had to kind of, like Flip had to make the first shallow water technical skiff, and, the modern day fly rods going from cane to fiberglass into the graphite era. I mean, all these guys were a part of all that, and the history behind it, and the fly tying. I mean, to me, Bob Popovics is the greatest modern fly tyer designer ever. I mean, he took things that weren't there, and it was all about solving problems. And that was one of the biggest things I ever learned from him. And, that's where a lot of his great patterns came from. It wasn't sitting at the desk just trying to come up with a new pattern. It was something he was seeing on the water. Like his surf candies, which were out of epoxy, were a necessity to try to, one, emulate the glass minnows, the bay anchovies, the silver sides, but also deal with the bluefish's teeth, and having, little bucktail deceivers or whatever, blondes and stuff are getting chewed up. So he needed something that was going to hold up to the bluefish. So he went from bucktail to using synthetic, kink nylon, and then putting epoxy over it and all. And then there you go. He's got a new pattern that's, one, durable, but two, it looks like the real thing, and fish ate it, and in my opinion, his most iconic and best gift he gave to fly fishing or fly tying was his hollow flies, the bulkheads, the hollows, all that. If you look at any musky fly, like the traditional musky fly, all that is a hollow bulkhead. And then having feathers added to it. And that's how impactful it was. And it's really funny, knowing Bob really well, and Jay Nichols, who was the editor for his books, especially his last one, putting that beast fly in his book was literally done at the Somerset show, and just as an afterthought, and they did the step-by-steps in the hotel room, which is pretty iconic if you think about it. Jay brought all his camera stuff. They took all the step-by-step photos and did all the, step-by-step verbiage and all that to get it all in at the last second, because it had to go to get finalized and go to a printer because they were behind, on a deadline. And to me, that's one of his best gifts, because it was solving a problem. It was taking him, seeing these giant bunker and these other really big bait fish that these giant fish are feeding on, and not having that platform. So he did extensions with mono, and then reverse tying, giving it the illusion of a big, bulky, giant bait fish, but still having to be able to be castable with a fly rod. And that was a game changer in fly tying. And it was a huge inspiration for me. I mean, that's where I first started catching muskies on a fly. And then, a lot of my patterns have a little bit of Bob in it, or a little bit of something from Bob. I mean, we could get into a whole thing about Bob and, his impact in my life, and a lot of my friends that are my age or a little bit younger. I mean, he's left a mark in this industry that it's second to none.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an amazing thing, right? Because you kind of take his flies are really kind of the foundation for kind of all the predator flies of today. And you kind of match that with the evolution and kind of fly lines and rods. And it's opened up the world of fly fishing to be able to fish for everything.
Oh yeah. That generation, brought forth something that, it's an explosion now with my generation now that's benefited from them. And then people coming up from under me that are, I'm at the era where I'm right on that cusp of not knowing much about computer technology and all that. And then everybody younger is like, you're a button push away from learning anything. And back then you only learned from what you saw. Right. And then you had this little network, which was Lefty Kreh. Lefty was, and like Flip likes to say, Lefty was our internet. Lefty knew so many people and was traveling all the time that if he saw something somewhere or somebody, he could connect you with someone, right? And that's what Lefty did. That's what made him so great. And, Bob was just like that. He helped me and introduced me and got one of my gummy minnows out there. And it's really, it was a really special time, and me to be a part of that. And then you see the transition and everything just kind of blowing up now because of all the available technology. It's really a amazing time to be in the sport, and definitely was 20 years ago, to see a lot of the things that I've got to see, and people like him in their prime. It was pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. And and a lot of that stuff is kind of, people can find that in the Chocklett Factory. Because I know you've been working like crazy, not just on flies, but on materials and shanks and all kinds of stuff. You want to give folks an update there?
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. Guess we'll do a shameless promotion here.
It is your show,
Yeah, I hear you. But I've had a lot of stuff, as we talk a lot and we've done a lot of stuff together. I've had so many ideas, so many things on the back burner, just life changing and different things, this and that. And I've had all these products that I haven't shared with the world. And finally coming to fruition, you take your, I don't know how to say it politely, but you learn from mistakes, right? So I've kind of been through the gauntlet past 7, 8, 9 years. And finally, as we know, I have my company that I can control everything. I don't have to worry about my back pocket or worry about somebody. Yeah, I will just leave it out. I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, let's talk about my products. I finally have some products I'm going to finally have hit the market. One of which are my original shanks that I designed. And, I know there's shanks out there, but what I do know, and it goes back to the problem solving thing, it's like you learn from first designs and all, and you just kind of learn from it, and you can tweak things, and you just make the platform better. And I feel like the shanks that I finally have, and we've received them this past week, we're bagging them up now, and they're going to be at all my dealers and on my website coming up next week, which I'm super excited about. So we have that. I have all kinds of other fly tying gizmos and gadgets and body parts and you name it. That's going to be gradually coming out throughout next year. And I think some of them are going to be revolutionary as far as making fly tying easier and making the whole game changer platform and other streamer patterns a lot easier for the average tire and the really good tires. So I don't want to let too much of that out, but we're getting a lot of things in. I'm really excited about it. New patterns. There's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe in 2025, and I'm excited to start sharing it with you. We started getting some of my brushes in, and hopefully we'll get some more of those. And I've got some new stuff like that coming. So, I can't really give out all the information yet, but I do want people to pay attention to, not only do we have flies that are going up on my site and all the Chocklett Factory dealers, but we have a lot of new fly tying products that's going to be hitting the market, and really excited about those things coming, and they'll be coming sooner than later. And I think everybody's going to like it because, again, it's just not a new product out there. It's a product that's going to make tying better and make flies better.
Yeah, and if your feet are cold, you even have game changer socks, right?
Yep. So we started getting into the apparel game, and we just thought it'd be funny to get some socks and put game changers all over them. So we got some blue with some pink game changers, and we got a navy with some yellow game changers all over it. So if you're into the sock game, we got some pretty cool ones, unique. So grab them. And we kind of did it just to see what would happen. I thought they were pretty cool. Kind of a joke, but also you got to wear socks sometimes, and you got to wear a suit. And I hate wearing socks. You know that. Wear flip flops all the time. But if I got to wear a suit every once in a while, I might as well have game changer socks on, right?
Yeah, and I saw you open the box. You shot me the video, so I imagine that'd be a great stocking stuffer for folks. And we'll get through the holidays, and you and I both know kind of what a special time it is to be in Virginia for Christmas. But and so it's country ham and oysters and biscuits. But the other thing is then we kind of hop into 2025, and that's usually kind of show season. And I think the only show you're doing is you're going to be at Bob and the Hood, right?
Yeah. I'll be up at Schulte's again, doing a couple of classes and some demos, and just looking forward to seeing all my buddies up there. And great, you bet you were there last year, so it's a really fun show. A lot of people, a lot of passionate anglers, a lot of very loyal customers that come into Schulte's, and very appreciative of what they've done up there, and very appreciative of having us there and make us feel at home. It's a great experience, and I'm only doing that show right now because of just trying to. I got a little big plans for next year. We're going to be gone a lot too, so trying to stay home as much as I can and take care of grown up, stuff and see my family as much as possible. But I'm going to do a couple of events at some shops still, but that would be the kind of the only show I'm going to be at. But we'll never know. I'm still kind of putting my schedule together, not guiding as much this year, but doing a couple clinics and classes with Mad River Outfitters. We're doing another muskie school with Virginia Trophy Guides, and this spring we're planning on doing a smallmouth school. So stay tuned for that. We'll be launching that soon with Schulte. So we're going to do a Schulte's Outfitters Chocklett Factory fly fishing school down here in Virginia for smallmouth bass. Everything you ever wanted to know about pre-spawn, post-spawn, summertime bass, fall bass, winter bass, all that kind of stuff. So that'll be a limited deal, and we'll be working with Virginia Trophy Guides on that. It's going to be classroom day and then some guided days with that crew, and Schulte and I being on the boat and kind of giving you tips, tricks, and kind of showing you how we would approach different strategies and all that kind of stuff from A to B. And that's pretty much what we're doing on the muskie school with Mad River. We got a whole crew coming in from there. We had a rough weather last year. Hopefully we'll have some much better weather this year, but we'll do a one-day class covering everything from tie-in to techniques, tactics, casting, all of that. And a couple days after that, we'll be on the water showing you how to do it, and basically guided trips with that. And other than that, man, I'm not going to be guiding very much. I got a few days with some good clients that have been fishing for years. But other than that, I'm not going to be guiding much for muskies. Finished up a film here last week with Dorsal Productions, and it's kind of a spoof off of Dan's Pain, which has been on F3T a couple times. So if you haven't seen that, it's got Dan's really terrible angler, and he's in a full blown blitz and can't get a bite. Just hooking himself and all that. So what better way to make Dan's fishing better than try to get him a muskie on the fly, right? So it's we had some fun filming that. I think everybody's going to get a laugh out of it, and we had a good time, and, I guided for muskies for a long time. And I'll be honest, man, when it's high at 30 outside today, I'm glad I'm not doing it. So I've been there, done that. And I'll let the other guys get into it.
Yeah, I've seen you when you look like Kenny from South Park, and we had the heater in the boat.
Oh yeah, that's right, man. It's yeah. I think I'd rather move south now. I'm getting older. Not that I'm that old. It just if we've been out there that many days for that many years, it's just kind of not as mad at it as I used to be. And that was kind of my game plan. It's kind of I want to get these new patterns and these new materials and these new products out. And I mean, that's going to be my focus moving forward. I mean, nothing else. Seeing my heroes leaving us, it just makes you realize that, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. So don't put off something you can do today for tomorrow, because you don't know, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Right. So,
Yeah.
and it's really, really been a shot to the chin here this past year, last month. So I'm going to do everything I can to get all my stuff out that I want, and got to finish the book too, with Jay. That's going to be something I'm going to be spending a lot of time with Jay here this winter, trying to knock that out so I can get that out maybe for next fall. So see what we can do on that.
Yeah. And, just to back up just a little bit to Bob of the Hood, I would say, folks, if you are into predator flies, I would tell you probably, I've done a lot of shows, and, in terms of the ability to find people that are genuinely, super fishy and really good tires, you can sit and talk to them for an hour and a half. Cause it's not a big show. You kind of owe it to yourself. And take your credit card, cause you're going to be buying a lot of materials if you go up there too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing. It reminds me a lot of back in the day. Tony used to put on this show that was called Lefty Kreh's Tie Fest. It reminds me a lot of that, where it was in a small environment, limited number of people, where you could just really enjoy hanging out with people, and one-on-one with people, and getting to hang out with buddies. It's a unique experience. I'm sure he's already sold out on the tickets, because I think he's got I don't know what the number is, but he's, you got the whole can't have so many people in an area. So I don't think he can have more than 100 or a couple hundred people in there at any given time. So definitely limited, but it's experience. It's got some amazing people that come, and that's like the who's who of streamer fishing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you've got, the other headliners with you this year. You got Doug McKnight and Charlie Craven.
Yep. And last year we had old Kelly there. So, it's a great time. And Russ is always there. There's some really amazing tires, and there's a lot of upcoming tires that you don't really know about, and I know you saw that last year too. So there's a really cool, buddy friendly family atmosphere up there, and they really kind of cutting edge stuff. There's a lot of, you start learning new techniques and new designs, and it's an exciting time to be a part of the sport, especially fly tying. And Schulte is at the top of his game on that as well, so he's putting on an amazing event, and I know I'm looking forward to getting back up there. I know you are too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so folks want to kind of stay on top of, where you might show up at a show or a school or a shop, or kind of, when the new sock designs come out at the Chocklett Factory, where should they go?
Yeah, you could check me out on Instagram or Facebook. I have a link on all of it, even the Chocklett Factory on Instagram, or Blane Chocklett Fishing. You can go to any of those and just take that click, and it takes you right to my website. And it's a work in progress, but we got some cool stuff, and you'll see a lot of cool stuff coming. We got some video stuff that's going to be popping out, and I'm going to do some instructional stuff to kind of share with you tips and tricks and ideas with these new products. So just stay tuned. And I'm sure we'll be up here again with Marvin and kind of giving you a what's up on the new products that we come out as it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to try to do these chocolate factories while you're around a little bit more regularly before you disappear on the road again. And I appreciate you taking some time away from your family this evening to catch up with me. And I'm sure we'll get together and maybe have a couple Coronas over Christmas holidays, right?
Sounds good to me, buddy.
Yeah, you bet. Well, listen, folks, we're in the holiday season. Have a great holiday season. Get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Blane.
Thanks, man. You too.